Okay, so this is likely going to be the last video here in chapter 1. So I wanted to go through a couple of these case study problems. For each one it says, for each study given, identify Part A, the research objective, Part B, the population, Part C, the sample, Part D, the treatments given, and then Part E, the response variable, and Part F, the conclusions that were made in the study. Okay, so problem 32 says a study conducted by researchers was designed to determine if the application of duct tape is as effective as cryotherapy. Liquid nitrogen applied to the wart for 10 seconds every 2 to 3 weeks. In the treatment of common warts. Okay, and the researchers identified 51 patients that are 3 to 22 years old and randomly divided them into 2 groups. The 26 patients in group 1 had their warts treated by applying duct tape, and the 25 patients in group 2 had their warts treated by cryotherapy. Once the treatments were complete, it was determined that 85% of the patients in group 1 and 60% of the patients in group 2 had complete resolution of their warts. The results concluded, or the researchers concluded that the duct tape is significantly more effective in treating warts than cryotherapy. Okay, so we'll answer the questions here. The research objective. So what is the objective of the entire thing? To determine if duct tape is as effective as cryotherapy in the treatment of warts. Okay, I'd say something along the lines of that. Part B, the population. Now remember, whenever you're stating the population or the sample, be specific. Okay, I would say anyone who has a wart is going to be interested in what's going on here, right? So that would be the population. I'd say all people who have warts. Now the sample would be the 51 patients that were 3 to 22 years old who have warts, and I would say all of that. Okay, that's in this statement right here. Don't just say 51 patients. Okay, that's not true. So we're not asking people over 22 years old if they have a wart. Okay, and don't just say 3 to 22-year-olds. That's not true because there's 51 patients and they have a wart, right? So be specific there. Part D, the treatments that were given. Okay, so there's 2 types of treatments that were given there. That is the duct tape is one, and the cryotherapy was the other one. Okay, part E, the response variable. Okay, so the response variable is the most important variable in the entire study. Okay, the most important to us. So what is most important when all this is said and done? Well, we'd like to know who still has a wart and who doesn't have a wart, right? So I would say something along the lines of the proportion of subjects who had resolution of their warts, or something along the lines of that, okay? Part F, the conclusions that were made in the study, is there at the end. So it says the researchers concluded that duct tape is significantly more effective in treating warts than cryotherapy. Okay. Maybe let's try problem 34 next. So it says that a local golf pro wanted to compare 2 styles of golf club. One club had a graphite shaft and the other had the latest style of steel shaft. And it's a common belief that graphite shafts allow a player to hit the ball further, but the manufacturer of the new steel shaft said the ball is going to travel just as far with the new technology. To test this claim, the pro recruited 10 golfers from the local driving range. Each player was asked to hit one ball with the graphite shafted club and then one ball with the new steel shafted club. The distance that the ball traveled was determined by using a range finder, and a coin flip was used to determine which club the player would use first. The results indicated that the distance that the ball was hit with the graphite club was no different than the distance when using the steel club. Okay, so we'll answer these same questions up here. The first one is to identify the research objective. Okay, so what are we doing? We're comparing two styles of golf club, I would say. Okay, and the population would be all golfers. So anyone who golfs might be interested in what happened here, right? So obviously, all golfers want to hit the ball further, right? The sample would be the 10 golfers from the local driving range, okay? And so you're not asking like Tiger Woods or anything like that, okay? So be specific there, okay? Part D, the treatments that were given. Okay, so the treatments would be the two styles of club that each one hit. Okay, so I'd say hit one ball with the graphite shafted club and one ball with the new steel shafted club. Okay, so sometimes when you hear the word treatments, it's like something you got to put in your mouth or something like that. No. So here would be the two styles of golf club that the individuals are using. Okay, in part E, the response variable. So what is most important to us when all is said and done? We'd like to know the distance that the ball traveled, right? Those numbers are the most important thing to us when all this is said and done, because that's going to tell us which club was better, right? So I would say the distance that the ball traveled. Now, and by the way, the response variable, so variable varies, right? Not everyone's going to hit the ball the exact same distance, right? Some are going to hit the ball longer, some are going to hit the ball shorter, right? So those distances are going to change. They're going to vary, okay? And so that's important to notice them when we have a variable going on. The conclusions that were made is there at the end. The results indicated that the distance that the ball traveled was no different for each club. I'd say something along the lines of that. Okay. When we try problem 36 here, and so for each study that's given, we're going to identify the research objective, the population, the sample, the treatments, the response variable, so same as before, but then part F, we're going to identify the descriptive statistics, and then part G, any conclusions that were made in the study. Okay, so remember, descriptive statistics is information about the sample, whereas inferential statistics, that's information about the population. Okay, so there's two different things there. Problem 36 says that researchers wanted to test the effectiveness of a new cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, compared with both an older behavioral therapy, behavioral treatment, and placebo therapy for treating insomnia. They identified 75 adults with chronic insomnia, and patients were assigned to one of three treatment groups. There were 25 in each group. Group 1 received CBT, which consisted of sleep education, stimulus control, and then time in bed restrictions. Group 2 received muscle relaxation training, or what we'll call RT, and then Group 3 received a placebo. Okay, and by the way, a placebo is just like a fake pill, like a sugar tablet. It's not going to do anything. Okay, to measure the effectiveness of the treatment, researchers used wake time after sleep onset, or what we'll call WASO, And after 6 months of treatment and a 6-month follow-up, it was found that CBT-treated patients achieved an average of 54% reduction in their WASO score, whereas RT and placebo-treated patients, respectively, achieved only 16% and 12% reductions in this measure. Results suggest that CBT treatment leads to significant sleep improvements within 6 weeks, and these improvements seem to endure throughout a 6-month span of follow-up. Okay, so part A, the research objective. So what are we doing? Well, I would say the objective is to test new cognitive behavioral therapy compared with both an older behavioral treatment and placebo therapy for treating insomnia. Okay, or something along the lines of that. Part B, identify the population. So who is the bigger group that this pertains to? Anyone who has insomnia might care about what's going on here, right? So I would say all adults with insomnia. And of course, that's a big group of people, right? So the research firm here is limited to just a sample. And so the sample would be the 75 adults with chronic insomnia. And I'd say that they have, chronic insomnia. Part D, the treatments that were given. So there's 3 treatments that are mentioned there, and that is the CBT, the muscle relaxation training, and then the placebo. Okay, and part E, the response variable. So what is most important when all this is said and done? Well, we need to know their WASO scores, right? Or the number of minutes of wake time after sleep onset. So once we have those scores, we can know which method worked, right? But so those WASO scores are the most important thing to us. Now part F is to list the descriptive statistics. Okay, so that's information about the sample. So right here where it says after 6 weeks of treatment, it was found that CBT-treated patients achieved a 54% reduction in their WASO score, whereas RT and placebo-treated patients, respectively, only achieved 16% and 12% reductions in this measure. Now that's information about the sample. Okay, so I would say all of that, that's, that'd be the descriptive statistics. Now what are the conclusions that are made? The conclusion that's made is that CBT treatment leads to significant sleep improvements within 6 weeks, and these improvements endure throughout a 6-month span of follow-up. Okay, and by the way, that would be inferential statistics. Okay, so inferential statistics is any time that you're taking information about the sample and you're extending it outward towards everybody now. Okay, so because of this sample, or because of this research problem that was done, with the researchers are gonna extend the results now to everybody and say, okay, we think that CBT treatment is going to be significantly better than these other methods. Okay, and and it's going to last throughout a 6-month follow-up. Okay. So let's see here. I've got the answers to these questions on the next page. Here's the answers to problem 32 through 38. Okay, and then on the page afterwards there. And so you guys have all the answers to those. And there at the bottom is the homework that I'd like you to look at. Okay, so in 1.1, we did not cover 1.2, and we did not cover 1.6. That that I'd like you to look at. Okay, so only these 4 sections, and by the way, the rest of the case studies that we did not do, so 33, 35, 37, and 38, we did not do. Okay, be sure to look at those also. And we'll go ahead and stop the video right here, and in the next video we'll get us started into chapter 2.